I was in a distant relationship with a lady on and off for over 10 years. They promised they get married. She'd been a great financial and emotional support for me over the years, but she insists she can't marry a pastor or leave Catholicism. Okay? Oh, wow. She can't marry a pastor. She can't leave Catholicism. 10 years. And you had promised you get married. And it's now, after you've collected all the money and gone to school or something. Financial, emotional. It's you I should flog first. I'm very serious. I'm thinking you're using her. I think God is... Furthermore, we were separated physically for a period of 7 years. When we were to be reunited, she got a job abroad and moved over there. Is that all? We don't talk anymore because she got upset that I wasn't accountable to her about my movement in the country while she had been away. Go back. She got a job abroad. Someone help me to think. She'll be drawing diagrams. Please. I don't want to make mistakes. Be drawing diagrams. Show where Oga is. Show where Madam is. Show now where Oga now went when Madam did not go. Currently, I've dedicated my life to God. I have the feeling God doesn't want me to marry her. Why is it? Are they not in agreement? No, first. They are in agreement. She didn't want to marry. He doesn't want to marry. The end. I'm worried if I marry another person, she'll be heartbroken, seeing as I took her virginity and gave her hope of marriage. She's 36 years old now. I sent a message to her to ask for her forgiveness for all my wrongs. She didn't respond. Do I just forget about her and wait on the Lord? How do I approach this? Okay, so what has happened is you've now given her conditions that you didn't give her before when you were collecting money, and you guys live in sin. Okay, so what did he say? When did he dedicate his life to Christ? Please go back. Currently, I've dedicated my life to God. Okay. Oh dear. This is usually very sad. It's usually very sad. I just don't like this kind of stories. So you more or less tough. Well, since you've dedicated your life to Christ, and it does seem it was a sinful relationship, but I think there was some benefit for both of you. If I think right, they were together for 3 years on and off. Yes? So she traveled abroad, right? For 7 years. They were around each other, but 7 years total, they were separated. That means but they've known themselves for 3 years. I'm going to presume they had a sexual intimate relationship that wasn't a one-time thing, it was an ongoing thing. That's what I was looking for. And if he was an emotional support, she was an emotional support to him, he was to her too. That special person. I don't know if you're going to count that as something given. And so on. But you dedicate your life to Christ. Sincerely, I think it's a bit straightforward. You want her to leave Catholicism, and she does not want to. And then she also doesn't want to marry a pastor, which you almost give us the impression that you are a pastor. Or you might become a pastor, because he didn't tell us you might become a pastor. It's tough. If you're hearing this answer, you can communicate personally later. But I would ask for you to, you don't want to break her heart, I agree. But if she's cut you off, and if you've given your life to Christ now, I would say, I don't think she has. So, do you want to marry in the Lord or outside the Lord? I think that's what it boils down to. And if you want to risk not marrying the Lord, I think it is wrong. Okay? So, apologizing. Go to the last page. Asking her to forgive you. Whatever. What do you mean by all your wrongs? You told me you're only one. What are the two? What's the one, Seth? What's the wrong? Me, it's taken from her, and he didn't force it from her. She gave it willingly. But the point is, for me, that's the wrong. But he hasn't told us any wrong. The main thing is that it's like betrayal. And I was there for you all that time. You didn't have a problem with my being Catholic. But the difference is that this fella has turned to the Lord now. If you go with emotions, that's how you go into a lifetime of sorrow. May end up getting married and get divorced within no time. Are you hearing me? Next question. What should an effete bride do who is born again to do on her traditional marriage day when she's about to shun the crowd because she has to dance a combi? I have a problem with people who try to be Christians when our wedding comes. I've always said it. I say it again for the 5th time today alone. That whole attitude where nobody knows you're not a radical Christian. Then when it's time to marry, suddenly you want to become a warrior bride. I have a very serious problem. I always have an issue with people whose family does not know their stand. You're a push about. Why were you not radically serious with God so much that they already washed their hands off you? I've told everybody that cares to listen. If your family has not washed their hands off you because of this, your Christianity, they didn't give up on you since. When you it's time to marry, they'll put hooks all over you. It is Do you remember when I said the best way to prepare is to live a life of obedience? If there's no way you live the life of obedience, you wouldn't have clashed multiple times since, unconnected to marriage. When marriage came, they would have, without your being there, they would say, I will not do it. But now you'll be fighting fresh. Look at the kind of fresh battle you want to fight. Maybe you've been clapping for others when they dance it. Now you're going to story. Now is story. Now they're about to tell story. And you came to ask me, a man who has done you no evil, set me free from your problems. Tell your family now, I will not dance that dance if you don't want trouble. I don't know about the dance, I just know that people it has roots in whatever. See, ask God. Go and ask God. Go and ask God. Okay? Your family should know and free you. I already said it. Don't do evil things. Some people, you're very big on some things. Make sure there's no alcohol in the drink you give. Make sure everyone drinks malt. Sometimes that's not the one that matters as much as it's some of these other things that are ritual. So you inquire, get directions and instructions from God. If you will do that, you will be wise. Start praying. Start praying. Tell your family, I will not do this one. They should tell the people in charge, my child will not do this one. But when all your life, not once did you go for fellowship against your father's will. You follow him to Presbyterian. Not once do you ever take a stand for Jesus. Now all of it, marriage, this is what happens all over the world. You will never take a stand for righteousness. You make sure you have no persecution. You don't even want your father to look at you sideways. Then when marriage comes, he'll be wondering, are you mad, young lady? When did this start? When you should have started fighting your battle since. Sneaking out for fellowship, getting beaten, they beat you. Bah, boom, bah. They know this God you're carrying on your head. By the time this comes, they would have understood. But no, you're the no persecution Christian. Zero persecution. You want the status of decreeing things in your family and it stands? You don't acquire it in a day. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I didn't ask if you liked me or I asked if you heard me. I've given you my answer. I know nothing about the details. I don't know if it's a fictitious example, hypothetical case. I do know that it is possible to find yourself in places where you make one decision. A young lady went for a burial and all that, and then they'll say, come and stand here on behalf. Then they'll rub this on you. Then they'll say, put your hand on a goat. Then they'll kill it. Then you come and stay in the house of the dead. Do you know this thing? When someone dies, that they make a small thing, they rub white powder or chalk on you, and they do this and do that. It's during burial that you come and be fighting battles. When your mother and father or whoever it is, they say you are the in our native language for Igbo, you are the this thing. All sorts of things. Be careful. Me, I don't know much. See, I don't like rules. But on the other hand, it's the things we have seen and heard. We've had members of our church go for a burial, come and they collected. After hearing me, they still collected. Maybe I should be pointing fingers. I have to pray for them. You pray and things are happening. And I'm like, even me, I didn't take it seriously. The other one goes, I'm like, well, is there anything really happen? I say, what? They say, well, we just went, but nothing. I was, all right, Father, thank you. I asked for healing. Waiting be that way they come out like that. What is that? That small go you go because you have never learned. See, let me tell you, till you guys have fear of the spirit realm, if you know how real the spirit realm is, you would be very vehement. You wouldn't all this, well, maybe I can just do it. You say, I will never do it, Daddy. Never. I simply won't do it. It's demonic. I won't touch it. You don't have to say it like that. You can just say, no, Daddy. It's against my belief. No, God doesn't want it. Rakashakataka barakata. But if you have been rabakashakatai for the last 3 years, they would have known your head was not correct since. Is at burial, they'll now come and discover that you're a Christian. Everybody discover. Your father is asking your mother, what is wrong with the child? Nobody understands. They say maybe it's a beating she wants. You have refused to pay a price for your Lord. So they won't understand. People usually refuse to understand brand new Christians during occasions. You're going to cause embarrassment. If they knew sins, your father would have done things like this because people have done it. People, I've heard you. But as this is my home, I am saying. He won't explain. His pride will not allow him say it's his daughters that is not allowing it. But he will say, I have decided. Your father may have fought for you, but you waited till they finished agreeing. Then you showed up. Mommy, like a mouse. Mommy, that thing that you're saying, I'll not do it too. This is 6 a.m. on the morning. They are coming by 7. This is your wisdom. Which shout are people shouting? People do this all the time. All the time. Trying to avoid the unavoidable. Don't be trying to avoid the unavoidable. Fight your battles early. Are you hearing me? Be known for standing for what is right. That your fear of harm, that your fear of any pain will cost you more than you can imagine. People have stood. I say one small encounter. They say, oh no, just carry. No, just touch. Just touch the goat. Just do like this. Then you left. It's okay, young lady. Then they take a knife, they cut the goat's head. In your mind, you're free. Have you not read in the Bible how they will take the sins of a whole nation and put on a goat just by touching it? You don't know. I keep telling people, people are so ignorant. You can collect problems that last for 3 generations in one action. Again, everything in your mind says, no, it's not possible. But you cannot be wiser than the Bible and things that many have seen and heard for a very long time. For a very long time. For a very long time. Don't wait till, I repeat, some of you, We cannot wait till you step into ministry 15 years from now. Then after you've been in ministry for 10 years, then you come and say, Pastor, I want to say, Kai, that thing you said, I've seen it. Not less than 200 times. Now I've seen it. We should wait for you to come and know what we know. We already know what we know. And we know the spirit realm. You can get stained by it. Satan looks for, give me Haggai chapter 2. Any excuse to grab you. The law of defilement. You get defiled just by touching. You're the one that thinks that you have to go through an initiation. If you want to get holy, you need to be initiated into holiness. It takes time. If you want to be defiled, it's sharp. Haggai 2, verse 12 down. If a man carries consecrated meat in the fold of his garments, and it touches bread, stew, wine, oil, or any other food, does that item become holy? No, replied the priest. Verse 13. So Haggai asked, if one who is defiled by contact with a corpse touches any of these, what's any of these? The food, those things from before. Does it become defiled? What's the answer? Yes. It becomes defiled. The priest answered. Do you see how dangerous? Just touching. You just passed and your cloth touched a corpse. You touched. Then you touch a container of that whole thing is defiled. But holiness, consecrated bread you touched, does not pass. Holiness cannot be passed by just brushing. You need to soak it in. When Aaron and his sons were being consecrated, they stayed in the tabernacle for 7 days. You soak. That's why I can't impart certain things. You can gift healing, but to impart separation, no. You need to be around. You need to percolate. Next verse. Verse 14. So you don't say it's not for God's holy people. Verse 14. Then Haggai replied, so it is with this people and this nation before me, declares the Lord. Read. And so it is with every work of their hands. Whatever they offer there is defiled. This is what I started answering earlier in the meeting when I was talking about how people have some action you carried out. What is a dead body spiritually? Dead religion. Remember Numbers chapter 9? Yes, sir. A dead religion, dead practices, demonic practices. That's a dead body. The living body is the body of Christ. Do you understand? The church is the living body. Every other religion is a dead religion. So he went, no, I'm not really. It's just Islamic. I just touched. I just went for the. You just did what? You see that thing you did? You didn't walk away free. This is God speaking about his people. These are people that were chosen by God. And he said, all the work of their hands, what they offer is defiled. This is the doorway. This is a major doorway that Satan uses to come against children of God. Tainted offerings. Tainted offerings that from defiled contact. Defiled contact. You watch what you do. You watch what you have. You watch what you brought in. Sadhu said he came back from Sadhu Selvaraj. He came back from Tibet. One of the first times he went. Came back with a souvenir. A small prayer wheel they had. He said, look at this thing that they used to pray. He kept it in the house. He said he didn't understand what his whole household, his parents, his sister, his mother, his sister, during devotions, trouble, quarreling, trouble, strife, trouble. His mother or other sister said it first, his older sister. Are you sure it's not this thing you brought into your house? He said, how can it be now? Haba. We didn't even open the thing, the prayer wheel, or turn it. His younger sister said, maybe you should not do what big sister says. That's how he took the thing outside and shattered it. Peace returned to the house immediately. You'll be there busy arguing. No, not really. It is really, this earth is really messed up. Messed up. The earth is really messed up. For those who don't know, one of our sisters, this is a combi question. One of our sisters here, she used to have horrible tummy pain. I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about it. During that April 2021 Passover retreat, we held it at CCC. As mass deliverances were happening, I was addressing different spirits, this spirit, and people that were under the influence of it all over the house. The room would fall under the power of God or start undergoing deliverance. And at the time, I was moving, and one of our sisters, she was thrashing, rolling around everywhere. Just, it was a strong thing. Later, it was an all-night thing. I remember walking over to her and, said what the Holy Spirit gave me to say. And I said, I think I touched her tummy lightly and said, oh dear, can't remember. Yes. Were you there? You remember? You heard. You were standing there when I said it. I said, I command a miscarriage. Can you imagine putting your hand on a sister and asking for a miscarriage? A miscarriage of what? She wasn't talking. She had been under since. Later, she gave a testimony, not that day, much later, and talked about how growing up in Abuja or wherever, she used to dance in front of mirrors. Where does she dance? Her testimony is online. Is her testimony online? So go on the website. What is it called? Someone should put out the link. She's always okay. They say it's on the hall, and so you grab it, and I don't know where we drop it. Drop it on TMG community. So, later, not now. And she would dance. She used to find herself dancing in front of mirrors, dancing like she didn't know what. Oh God, I don't know the story well. But it turns out there's some demonic. It's not normal. She's always dancing, and then she has this horrible tummy pain. But who will connect her horrible tummy pain to her dancing? What's the connection? On what basis will you connect it? Until that day. She says it later that growing up, she used to have this, it's so painful, it's so bad. That as the power of God was hitting people in that place, I don't know if she saw it before then or saw it just that day. She saw she had a lot of demonic eggs in her belly. Like a demon had impregnated her. Many. So when I had said, as I was walking past and I stopped and said, I command a miscarriage here, that thing started just bad stuff. Disgusting sounding things. Left. Now, why is that story? Some of you know that story up to that point. No, I think she said the extra. She goes for youth service. She's still at youth service. She's not bad. While she's there, she passes a group of girls. The different platoons have to present something. And they are trying to learn. They are not from this side. So they are trying to learn how to dance a combi dance. And she stops and shows them how to do it. But she does not do such things. So she had learned her lesson. Or had she? As she leaves there, that thing hits her again. Bam! It's back. Now, go and argue with her. Go and sit down and explain to her, the psychosomatic, the psychological, that's your problem. When you've heard and seen it as many times I've heard and seen, thank God I was able to remember one story. After a while, you don't want to know. I don't want to know the origin. I don't want to know anything. All I know is that there's a problem. You speak. Because I would rather you don't find out. Are you hearing me? Yes, sir. Than dip your hand into a hole. You don't know what is inside. Then come out and say, I didn't know. I would rather I don't dip it at all now. Why must you find out? That's why I would have gone in there, stayed there, messed up her womb. Next thing you see, fine girl, marry me. Yes, I do. Boom. Then we'll be talking story. Then you'll tell story. I don't know, we've been to all the hospitals. We spend so much money. If that's how you want to live, enjoy. Me, I decided since I was small, I got born again small. I've discovered that suffering is not totally necessary. This world will give you suffering by itself. I don't try to contribute. I said I will not give one offering towards suffering because I'm suffering already without giving my help. I would advise you, keep your life unspotted. Plus Calabar company. Yeah. When a spirit comes and jumps on you, keep yourself clean, separated from all these things people do and act like it doesn't matter. Don't do it. The enemy is so... I found out the wickedness of the enemy is a strange wickedness. It looks like it has no purpose, but he has. It's like he wants to afflict everybody with something. You don't need to be afflicted, child of God. Have you heard me? Why do you need to be afflicted? Must you suffer for 10 years, 15? Must you... Some people suffer all their life. It will be hard for people here to suffer all their life because you've heard these things. But don't think that because you know it, if you disregard it, it won't come on you. In fact, the devil may be able to even do more because he can also bring the allegation of, and they knew. Is this clear? Is this all? What if your husband asks you to dance for him, with him to secular song? Does it fall under things a wife would not be healthy for? I mean, may fall under, since she was obeying her husband. And what kind of songs? Excuse me, after everything I said about not marrying unbeliever, you weren't married. He's a believer that likes secular songs. You forgot to discuss songs before you married. Let me tell you, sisters, how to marry. Since you've forgotten, or this is a new person, I'll tell you how to be a Christian. Before you marry, lay all your cards on the table. Long before you say, I'm thinking of doing. Have you heard me? Long before you say, I'm thinking of saying, one day, possibly, I may do. Let your husband to be, let this man whom you may consider as your husband to be, know what you can do and what you cannot do. Not once, so he won't say he forgot. But it shouldn't even be a special list. It should come up from your conversations. I told you back then about the picture example. A young lady has a picture with Jesus and they are very close, holding cheek to cheek. And then a young man comes in, is interested in you. As a young man comes into your room, you hide the picture. You cover it, you keep it face down. And then after a marriage, you come and be asking plenty questions. You traitor. Go and live whatever you married and don't involve innocent children of God. You chose to be ashamed of Jesus and deny him for whatever reason you chose. You deny Jesus. You made that choice. Live with it. And it's funny, in this instant story I'm telling about that I was telling this young lady. The young man told her, very interesting, that he likes secular music, that doesn't like all these things, Christians that act holy, that any song is, in this story I'm telling you. That's the person you want to marry. And you keep quiet. When he opens the mouth and says he likes secular songs, do you mean you didn't discuss music at all when you were just this thing? You didn't exchange songs. You didn't say, have you heard this person? When he opened his mouth and said, Yanni is the best. You went, yes, sir. Oh, who is Yanni? Say, oh, you haven't heard Yanni. Yanni is good. Who has heard Yanni? Repent, repent, repent. For the kingdom of God is at hand. Somebody, I wonder, is it bad to listen to Yanni? Listen to anything you like. I have a friend years ago when he was sacrificing Yanni. It was a big deal. The way he laid him down. Yanni is good though. But how can you hear that music and not know it's spiritual music? It doesn't make you feel like worshiping. It doesn't. The problem is worship who? Who will you worship? Because the music is good. No joke. The orchestra. Ta, 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 ta. Very tempting. If I'm to fall, that's the direction I'm falling. But some of us know that there's more to everything. Eh? Oh, yes. When musicians get born again and come and tell you that they did an album, and while they were recording the final thing, that they have witches singing into it. You know, there's a reason someone goes and imports a witch. There's a reason someone removes their clothes and stands stark naked under the full moon, singing into a song. And the person's name is not among the musicians. You know, there's a reason. So this your purposeful, I'll stick my head in the sand, I don't want to know, but all I know, just listen to music. The demons that are in that song are very happy with you. You are their friend. You're the kind of person they like. As they swim through your house, from room to room, visiting your first son, visiting your daughter, flowing through. Thank you so much. Permission. I love this house. This house. If not for that other, just two angels, but I loved it. Avoid that side. I love this house. Then you'll be wondering why your children are not born again. Why your daughter looks like that during worship. You're asking many questions. Because one of those things went through her ear and lives in her head. And she can't understand why she does not love daddy's God the way he seems to love him. Sis, you got demons. And daddy brought it. Clueless daddy said, no, these are just some songs by, some of these old classics. Because your mind is innocent doesn't mean that darkness is not present. Innocence does not excuse. Ask Eve. Did you touch it? Did you eat it? Trouble has come upon you. So there are things we have to give up. It's called holiness, where you keep yourself separate just in case. Do you get? If you're so desperate to enjoy something, can you just pay the price of asking God, God, please, can I have it? Are you hearing me? Then maybe you take water, sprinkle on it 7 times, speak my word, pray in tongues over it. Maybe you could kick out the demon, if it is possible, but I doubt it. There's 1,000 Christian songs, gloriously anointed. Why must you listen to this one? Are you understanding what I'm saying? We are too inclined. We are too inclined to mix with the world and hope for the best. And the devil is very delighted with it. You mustn't wait till you hear someone that came from the deep bowels of the kingdom of darkness to come and tell you the story. Take it from some of us that have heard them for a very long time. And we have heard from God too. And we have seen the effect. The effect. People have taken things, thrown into fire, albums, songs. Instant, a young man used to have terrible homosexual urges. Was he homosexual? No, horrible dreams. He had gotten born again. All his albums, he didn't listen to it again. He put them under his bed. Horrible dreams. Then one day, I can't remember what happened. God showed him mercy. And he took them and went and broke. Instantly, all the horrible dreams stopped. Now, go tell him again. Well, you see, it was in your mind. How was it in his mind? He did not know and suffered non-stop for months or years. The one day he took action, he was free. How can you say it's in his mind? A man has a business, he's a businessman, wealthy, very wealthy, travels abroad from China. He brings a small jade Buddha. Nice, costly thing. It's in his house. So I got this on my trip too. His wife has been sick for I don't know how long. This woman of God comes to the house. She's there. I said, pray for my wife. And he's passing. He says, where did you get it? He said, oh, I bought you on one of my trips, business trips to China. He said, I don't think you should have it here. I think you should destroy it. Okay. Totally ignorant. Picks it, walks outside, breaks it. Bah! I think before he walks back in, his wife that has been buried is up on her feet and walking. Again, argue with it. Say, your belief system, dance, turn into 10 circles. Tell stories. But when you have seen, it's only out of, some of us, I need patience. Be praying for me. Because sometimes I get very irritated. Like, I'll be explaining to you. I've told you it's bad. If you like, continue. Bye-bye. Go and suffer. 10 years later, you'll be suffering. In fact, it will get worse. It always does. So don't dabble with, it's different when you don't know. Then you suffer at least in peace. Do you understand? When you now know, you now be at, why are you keeping it? You love it so much. You see that bond you have to it. Is it the Bible? Destroy that thing. That thing has a hook in you. It will be used against you. If you haven't watched The Truth Behind Hip Hop, watch it. All right. So some people, these are the things. Even was there another question? This woman. Now, okay, go back. If this husband, I have said this in the past. The husband is singing, "Lady in red is dancing with me, cheek to cheek," and you were wearing red and you can't pass. And I may be wrong. Go and ask God. Okay. I don't sing unbelieving songs. I don't dance with my wife. I don't do any of that. But in my maybe attempt to not be overly this thing, I've said, if a couple were to sing a song or listen to a certain song, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. After all, they are husband and wife and they can sing about love. But on the other hand, can't you talk your love? What? Must she invite in another? If a Christian now says, "Let him sing about love," you now say, "Is he a Christian at all?" If you pay me, I'll sing about love for you. I can give you sweet Christian song, love songs, Christian SUNG love song. But you will not. You will not stop stressing me and allow me to go to the studio. But if you do, I'll give you an album. I'll sing about love. Do you want? Sponsor it. Commission it. Commission it. First, I'll sing love to God and love to man. Love to your spouse. But you can only get the album when you marry. So you won't be thinking about love. So I don't know. Let the husband try not, please talk with your to-be, whoever. Long before, I told our sisters, better lay all your cards on the table. Better let them know. And when guys come here and they say they're interested in our girls, it's my job as their pastor to say, "What has she told you?" When they say nothing, "What did she say about it?" Nothing. I say, okay. When they say, she's like this and that, I say, "Listen to me, Oga. Did they tell you how I, for the first time in my life, I laid a curse, and anybody that comes here to deceive anybody to carry wife, a curse, my first curse. Did they tell you? I've not even cursed witches, where I put out a curse. It's hanging and waiting for the mumu man that comes here. I didn't plan it, I'm a good Christian pastor. I don't even curse witches. Imagine, in this Niger. I've been very gentle. But I'm jealous over God's sheep under my care. So if you come and pretend you got baptized in the Holy Ghost, pretend, God catch you. Don't try it. You enter trouble before the wedding day. I have added. So they won't even marry you at all. So she will not have widow status. Don't be a thief. Go away. There are very many churches where someone will gladly marry you as an unbeliever. Even in this church, we have the unbeliever sister. She's not an unbeliever, but they are not. Find that one. Have you heard? But if you go and hunt and pretend, of course, I don't know why any sister should be blind, but if you pretend well enough, people have pretended. I've told you stories now. People pretend, carry someone home after their wedding and said, "Now from today, all that stops. I'm actually a member of a Lumbabu, and you're bringing out hot drink." Where? Be lucky it was not here you came. And the last, and years ago, and that woman she died though. Jim's sister, they say. She died. People are deceiving people day and night. You don't have super serious issues, or you don't pretend to that level. No. You can be a human being who has faults. That's completely different. That's not what we are saying. We are saying where you come and say, "Look at this idiot. I'll deceive them." Then you find a sheep's clothing, cover up well, file your teeth, your sharp fangs, and then jump on one sheep. No. this shepherd will shatter your head. It's not a curse. It is my staff which I've lifted up. It shall come upon thee. Thou shalt have a migraine that has no end. Why? For being a fake, not because you want to marry, for being a deceiver, a Muslim, and you're pretending. Why do you pretend? Be real. Say, I am what? There's one guy that came, was interested in one sister here, but he was real. That's the only reason I liked him. I like real people. Just be frank. Well, I may not be this thing, but who knows? God, man. It's a correct human being. Not coming to ask who lamba dada. I hope you understand what I've said. Yes, don't be a fake. I'm not talking about being a Christian in shotgun. Don't be a quack. That's all. And I'm really serious. Don't do it. I have a big stick. I don't use it much, but I'll use it on your head. It's a spiritual stick before you think it's real. And it's worse than a physical stick 1,000 times. What if the woman of God, in the context of GLH, is leading you to a call leader? In the context of God's lighthouse, what if the woman God is leading you to is a call leader and you are not? What if it's even your shepherd? What has that so wait, hold on. So call leaders will marry people from the planet Mars. That's one. Two, your shepherd will not marry a human being. Why can't it be you? Maybe they've shepherded you so well. Listen to me. I don't have a problem with, that's not, marriage is a bit different from ministry. I hope you know that. So it's not a problem to me. All that matters to me is that God, the breath of God should be upon something. If you know how important that is to me, the breath of God. And how will we know? God speaks to you and others pray. Since you're in a place where we are genuine and we speak to God too, and I think that should be fine. You speak to God, we speak to God, and God says yes. God in the past, the people that have married here, God said yes. And if God says yes, why should I be worried? It's the yes of God you're looking for. Sometimes he says yes, but later. Yes, give time. Yes, sharp. We've had him say yes, and there was no time boundary. Smooth, fast. Yes, we've had him say yes, and even though the two people, is it two? How many? The major people that have married within the last couple of years, maybe there's more jealousy over those that have been around for a much longer time, are really deep in somewhere, almost visitor status at the time. But it's fine and good. God has been faithful, and I don't think you should be afraid of, if God leads you. You said if God is leading you, it better be God. That's all that matters, as opposed to your emotions. There was a time we tried to take away all the guys from female shepherds because, as they say in bad English, they were catching feelings. But we don't have enough male core leaders. Like, we have too many people to care for. So we still have, the females still have to take care of some males. There's nothing we can do. The best shepherds are females, most times. And try not to fall for your shepherd, for your own mental health. Look at me, I beg. During Christian courtship, it's advisable to limit visits to each other's homes. Who is this visitor? Sometimes we don't even visit. Hey, we don't even do those things. You don't even go alone. You go with someone. Sometimes people get married and discover later that their spouse is very dirty. How can this be avoided, seeing that people can pretend to be clean during visitation? It's not hard. Very good question. These are the kind of questions you have been asking since. A dirty spouse to be. Is it the woman or the man? It matters. The man. Is it the one that will be taking care of your house? Should I call your name? You think I don't know who you are? Is it I know your voice. Is it the I can look away and you still answer again. I'll look away. Is it the man that will be taking care of the house? If it's a dirty man, there's hope. The horror if it's a dirty woman, then we're in trouble. Pigsty. What is this? God forbid. All right, what have I said? Have I spoken about this many times over the years? Have I said you should be clean, that you marry someday? Yes, sir. You're not sure? Hunger has finished you. You're not sure? What have I said about cleanliness over the years repeatedly? The only people I can overlook are the brand new people, but I told you to teach them what you've been taught. And I told you to insist, and I'm still insisting. And me, I'm still shouting. I'm still seeing people acting anyhow. I've told people to be clean. One reason, you can't hear my wife say I stress her with dirtiness. I was clean long before I married. You can't hear her say, you can't smell my socks. You can't, it's deliberate. This thing, I've told you love is action, it's not talk. Talk, I love. You know, I like him. I would have liked Sheriff, but it's just that he doesn't. A man should be able to make a girl feel good now. So how are you, baby? How are you, baby? But it's very dirty in the house. Now the other one may not be like that. He may be calm. Hello. He may be like that. In the house, he's neat and clean, organized and helpful. You don't mop after him. You don't sweep after him. All of you know, if you come to my house, there's a foot mat in front of every door. You're tired. So that's why you keep jumping the foot mat. The same thing you see here, it started from my house. It's not here, it started. You think my wife came up with that? That's me. I don't do sand. I don't do... So my wife is not stressed about those things. That's how you love. I love. You love someone, don't stress them. That's how you love. Don't stress them. Do you show your own love by stressing people? The less you cause stress in someone's life, the more it shows you love them. So please, if you've never been motivated to be clean by fire and by other elements. By all means, learn to be clean. It will make, especially if you want to marry. I've yabbed you, I've jabbed. You know it's jab, right? You don't jab, you take jabs. Okay, so, but that's ancient history. Nigeria took it over. I've jabbed you, yabbed you. I've done everything. And be practical. Some of you talk too much. When you see people do dirty things, point it out. This is not clean now. Do something about it. If you're a leader in any capacity, a house head, any of our family houses, be strong, be firm. Don't be light-hearted about it. Be strong about it. It should be possible soon to be saying everybody, shame. You should care. You will live with people. You know the way you grew up is how you tend to be. What was scary, not scary to you, will not be scary to you in your own house. If with your mother present shouting, it didn't work, what do you think you do in your house? So learn it for the sake of your spouse. Some people, let me tell you what people do. They try shortly when they marry. Shortly. Then the first 1 week, 2. Then they relax and become natural. And go back to piggydom. Have you heard me? Now if you know you're a Miss Piggy. Or Mr. Pig. Long before you marry, tell your spouse, I'm a bit of a pig, but you help me. If you're honest, there will be hope. Don't refuse to marry someone because they are... What do you even mean by dirty? You know, dirty is a comparative term. For you, what is dirty may not be... But understand that people grow up in different places, in ways, okay? Okay, if you come to someone's room and it's all scattered, You won't marry them because of that. No, when you marry, you'll be hanging the clothes. It's not dirty because the clothes are not hung. It's dirty if there's 3 underwear under the bed. There's shoes in the kitchen. There's all right, you get the point. There's dirtiness, there's you using, and again, some people wonder what's wrong with that. And I've tried to explain to people that people grow up differently and all that. They may have had 1 or 2 or 3 basins in their house. So they may have used, they don't distinguish between their bathroom pail and all that. People grow up in different levels of poverty. We have to be realistic. You don't go saying my spouse is dirty because she or he used the same pail they used to do this, to cook and all that. What do? You say, no, we don't do this. That person is doing what they've done for 25 years, for 30 years, without blinking. They grew up to see that. Are you hearing me? Make sure you hear this part so you don't just go judging people casually. It's not bad in their eyes. There are things you do that may not be bad in their eyes. You pick your nose every time anyhow. You don't pick it. You pick it and look at it. Who knows what you want to see? I hope you feel bad enough. Good. So because of time, I have to hit hard, hit straight. So you pick. You admire. Every time you don't just, if you feel something in your nose, you again, who knows what your issue is? And never shall you in this earth have a hanky. Ever. So someone else look at you says you're dirty. Okay? You want to brush your teeth, you put your toothbrush in your pail of bathing water. That's what, like we did in secondary school. Why are you laughing? Who went to boarding school here? Is that not perfectly normal? So that's perfectly normal to some people. All right. So some people, you're dirty because you use the same cup they brush teeth with to put tea. Is that same big cup? We'll show it. That yellow cup. You know that big one? Is that cup? Yes? Some people will say you're dirty because again, there's so many things. I want to give that example. You came from a place where the two never meet. Kitchen, basin, and bathroom, pail. Have never met. You see, your brain will say, if someone does the other, I don't know what kind of dirty person this is. Let me tell you when I'll call you dirty. When you come to a house where nobody mixes things and then they've told you and you keep mixing it. Your dirty is under your skin. So how do you handle it, Mr. or Mrs. Cleanliness? You buy enough that they don't need to borrow from there. Is that okay? Because when you come back and see them soaking clothes in your kitchen, hey, the child's diaper, poo shorts. Why are you doing your face like that? Who has seen it before? The child shorts, kitchen basin. It's the same one they wash water leaf in. Raise your hands. You have seen it before. Look around you. Stop shouting. Don't be shouting. See hands. Thank you. Put down your hands. So don't act like it doesn't happen. People do all these things. The child's pee short. And I'm saying one reason would be poverty. They can't afford another. What should they do? They have to manage. And people have lived like that for ages. White people have lived like that. All over the world, people live like that. Now that we've settled that, it's the conditions they are in that compel them to be like that. Take money. Thank God you have more money, exposure. Buy and clearly state to your spouse, we don't do this. I'm trying to say that's not a basis not to marry them. Do you understand? Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
It might be a basis to extend the wedding, but it's not a basis not to marry them. We can use that time and move them to come and live with a couple and then try and retrain them a bit. People need retraining. It's one reason why we try to pass people through my house. It helps them. It helps them. You know, we are from all sorts of backgrounds. Is that okay? How many of you have seen me sit on the ground before? Where? Doing Psalm 139 when I wanted to faint. I sat on the ground to cast. Who was I casting demons out of? No, that's a broken man. She said we are having Psalm 139. We are doing deliverance and I sat on the ground. I knelt. That'll be strange. He got a soup and I sat on the ground. There was no stool. I sat on the mat after an all-night meeting. Likely knelt. Sit. Anyways, I sat on the mat and drew a diagram. Two occasions, people claim they almost saw me sitting on the ground. Who has seen me in all the years you have known me? I don't sit on the ground. I don't do ground. To me, this is dirty. Okay? So I'm trying to explain. But my wife can live on the ground. Is it not you people I said the other day? Is it not you people that shamed me? Where was it? Is it not you people that I stood and said that, when we dedicated Ekpanya house, that you must be suffering so much having to sit on the ground to eat in your different family houses? Everybody laughed at me. I said, you people, Abi, you're not used to it. We need table. If you see the silence, then I realized I was on my own. That everybody there. Finally, I said, sorry. If you see how I realized I had goofed. So I now said, okay, how many of you I grew up sitting at table? Whether 2 or 3 people raised their hand. The crowd. I didn't know it was a Fulani crowd. I thought... Look at the silence now. So this is the point I'm making. Don't presume on people. People are not bad. They are just different. Do you understand? They are bad people. But I'm saying, most people, these my people, they are not bad people. They just grew up eating on the ground. It's me that came with my confusion. Because I grew up sitting on a table from childhood. Sitting on a table neatly. We didn't even used to eat together. Everybody with their plate. Some of you are like, what's that? It has always been your village. On your mouth, get set, wildlife. There was a time, they might put food for me and my brother years later. But from earliest days. So people grow up different. Is this clear? There are people who grow up eating with their siblings. So when they marry, that's the only way they know to eat. Then there are people that say they can't even eat if someone is not eating with. All sorts of weirdness. So what do? You come into a marriage. Well, I'm not used to that. Compromise. You don't force him to eat or her to eat with you every time. You eat with them sometimes. Be a Christian. Do you understand this? So this dirtiness thing is a matter of perspective. Okay? Point out what shouldn't be done. And I grew up with an Ibibio mother. No sand in food. No sand. My mom used to cook years ago for occasions. Big pots of food, multiple pots. Some of our people used to go and work for pay and eat for free. Do you used to see sand in her food? Do you see how picky, how careful she is? Big pots of food like this, no sand, occasion food. If you see how she cooks occasion food, you wonder if it's exactly like house food. So when I eat and people live with me and they cook and I'm eating and they go, krr, they don't understand. You don't understand. So 30 years of no sand. And then you came and introduced, because this is what I see you do. You cook, then you pick the bits of sand. You know, if I was married to you and you're my wife and you're a sandy wife, you know, there may be problems. There may be problems. So I react to, of course, my teeth are also very sensitive, but all these things matter. Do you understand my point that dirtiness is relative? But try your best to aim for the standard of the cleaner person. But you have to compromise. At the early days, I tried to get my wife not to sit on the ground. I think it fell woefully. It's not wrong. Even on carpet, when I say ground, I don't even sit on a carpet. I stay up. Or on a mat, if you keep something. It's also maybe because I don't like dust. I also don't walk barefoot. People are different. Act differently. I in my early days, so you come to my house, even if you have 15, 25 people, everybody is wearing slippers inside there. Has inside slippers. There's outside slippers. You change like a superhero into inside slippers, outside slippers. Now that's me. Over time, how many people have noticed over the years I've relaxed? I don't come after people so much about wearing slippers inside. They have noticed in the last few months, I catch criminals everywhere not wearing slippers. But I still say, are you not feeling cold enough, or is this weather not, all that? But you see, I'm mellowing, I'm changing. That's how it is in marriage. You change. You drop some of your strongly held opinions, or you will not have peace. You must not insist on everything. Now, sand in food, no, I'm not joking with you. But other things, okay? Other things you have to adjust, allow, give allowance. Men, take note of what I'm saying, because men, we can be very, in quotes, stick to principles. Women like breaking rules, some. But sometimes it's the woman that is the opposite. But for a man, because you're the head of the home, don't be overly. You have to relax. I don't mean you shouldn't have rules. You need rules. But in some things that are not spiritual, relax. Are we clear? When a person is considered married, is it after? When is a person considered married? After payment of bride price, after the white wedding? I don't know. You didn't say traditional. Why did you say, okay, by payment of bride price, you mean on the traditional marriage? You can't hold yourself. What's the gap between these two? Hold yourself. Instead of just coming out plain. When can we consummate a marriage? Hold yourself. Hold yourself. What's your problem? Hold yourself. The gap cannot be more than 2 days now. Shh, I'm not hearing you. Several weeks. Why would you do a thing like that? That's your problem. Do anything you like. Consummate, don't consummate. Just, can I suggest to you that you have the church can you have the church you are part of pray for you before you marry? That's all. So maybe you should do it before the traditional. I don't know how you do it. White wedding is people wearing white and dancing and rice. It doesn't. If I had my way, I told you years ago, I stand by it. I've not changed, but all of you are cowards, including the men. Very annoying. If I was here, I'll marry on the same day. The same day we are doing everything. We will walk into that place where the traditional thing, that is traditional clothes. Not clothes, it's just Ankara or whatever. You dress for your thing, From there, you move to the white wedding venue. Or you go from the white wedding venue to the village, give everything, then go home. Don't you know that's only one pot of, one dish of food? The only obstacle may be your parents. But if you start talking, planning, and insisting, all that, you can wed within 6 hours. You can do all. Bring your parents here for the white. Take them. Let the traditional crowd in your village not move. If it's close, do you understand? If it's within the same state, this is with your church people. Some of them that want to come with you should come with you. You change up. Go and do the traditional thing and go. Or vice versa. You go early in the morning, do the traditional thing. Small, keep it small. If your father can stop showing off, if you can stop showing off, keep it small. Turn around like that. Go to the white wedding by 10, 11. or that evening, afternoon or evening, anytime. It can be that same day. It can be 3, 4, 5, 6 that evening. If you didn't have people from outside, but if you have people from outside, it has to be earlier. Do you get? Everybody has heard what their pastor thinks, so the rest is on you. Now I cannot counter you because you have not committed any sin by wanting to have 1 month apart. I mean, who am I? But I don't like the idea of people getting married without the body of Christ being the ones that prayed for them, bless them, to go to the village and the joining of just traditional people. I wouldn't do it if I was you. I would wait. I wedded my wife on Thursday. We did the white wedding on Saturday. My wife went from traditional to my parents' house. I was in my parents' house. I was still living there. It's from there. But you can restrain. You've been self-disciplined for how many years? 20 years. You cannot hold yourself. 30 years. Hold yourself, okay? But I won't, again, I would rather not. There's something about consummating a marriage. Once you consummate it, it's consummated. I won't really feel excited about saying, oh, we now join you. I'm joining what you have been joined. So even if you do it, no problem. We pray for you at your traditional, no problem. But when I come there, all that we say, we declare you. It's a declaration. Declare you husband and wife. Okay. But I'd rather not do it. You can do anything you like with my words. I hope you're done. Is there a suitable age for a man to be married? No. 15. I would think in this day and time, because men take a longer time to mature mentally, I would think around 25. Upwards. Are you done? All right. We're about to pray. The song carries. Have I explained that today is a beginning?
Yes, sir.
All right. That means we continue hereafter.